Healthshare ministries are still a very viable product line in the under 65 market. And this video is going to break down all of the terms. So this year, you may decide that you need another option for all of your folks under 65. We saw a huge growth in short-term sales, and we've also seen a huge growth in Healthshare ministry sales, all because there are really no options with the ACA. However, we all still have clients who are under the age of 65 and still need quality health care. So sit back, relax, get a sheet of paper, because the definitions I'm about to go over today, I want to make sure you understand what they mean in the major medical arena. But more importantly, if you get into the Healthshare arena, you have to use the Healthshare terms. You cannot go back and forth. You can't tell a client, well, this, but here we call it over here. That is confusing, and frankly, you just can't do it. The Healthshare ministry has its own rules, own product, own way of doing things. And I can tell you, with our years of experience with them, they've worked out great. Do I think Healthshare ministries are the #1 solution for our ACA needs? No. Nor do I think short-term is our #1 solution. But I think having different product lines that at the end of the day have good rates and pay all bills, I think that's a winning combination. So let's break down the terms so that you thoroughly understand. Actually, before I do that, I want to lay the groundwork a little bit about Healthshare. What are they? So we saw Healthshares really come out after the Affordable Care Act was signed because they were exempt from the penalty. So we saw there were 5 core and only 5 recognized Healthshares in the market. We started to see a lot of marketing. We started marketing them. We wrote a lot of business. But Healthshares have been around much longer than that. And conceptually, a Healthshare ministry is, it's a group of people that pay in, and then if there are any needs, there's money in a pot to pay the needs. That's a Healthshare. There were some legal actions taken against a Healthshare last year. Not one of the 5 recognized. Those are all operating business in a stellar capacity. But this offshoot came under scrutiny for misusing funds. Terrible, absolutely terrible. But we see this type of fraud in everyday life with everything in life. So it is just very important that if you look to align yourself with a Healthshare ministry, you really check them out. You check out their reviews. How long have they been doing this? What is their surplus? Feel free to definitely reach out to me, as I've interviewed almost all of them before I made my choice as to who I wanted to align ourselves with. A #1 big misconception with Healthshare ministries is that a majority of people think you have to be a certain religion to work with all of them. That is false. That is true with some. With some, there will be requirements that you have to fall into X religion. Like I said, not all of them are like that. Personally, I like working with a Healthshare that isn't focused on that, but more focused on your overall health and focusing on good lifestyle choices. So don't be automatically turned off by these, thinking that they potentially are Bible thumpers. Not true. So that would be, if I was you, my #1 question, determining which one am I going to feel the most comfortable with. Historically, these rates are 50% less than ACA. In fact, probably in today's rates, they're more than that. Some of these products are guaranteed issue. Some of these Healthshares, some are not. Some are underwritten. That would be another important question to find out, as well as commissions. This has nothing to do with the MLR, so there's no minimum loss ratio. However, some Healthshares actually do adopt that 80-20 ratio. Others do not. So in terms of how healthy is your book of business, that would be another great question to ask. But now I want to jump into these definitions. Again, I grew up in the under 65 market. It's always been a passion of mine, health insurance. In fact, I feel that health insurance is the most important policy every single person should own. It's the most important, because if you have a massive claim and you don't have any coverage, you're looking at bankruptcy. You're looking at completely destroying your life financially. Not worth it at all. So then it comes down to what are the options, who's good, who's not, where are the holes, how do you fill the holes? So what you will notice on this playlist is there will be a series of videos all pertaining to health shares. So if we look at terms, this is a form you will find on our website, gordonmarketing.com. Go to the upper right-hand corner, click on the menu, and then select Healthshare. This is a breakdown of terms from the Healthshare as well as terms from Major Medical. All right? Now, what I said was you cannot go back and forth. I am merely using this as an example in case you don't understand what I mean. This is something as you're getting into this market to be very well versed and just commit to memory. If I'm talking Healthshare, I only use these terms. If I'm talking Major Medical, I only use these terms. This is on our website. You can print it off, you can study it, you can do whatever you want, but this feature and this tool is at your disposal. All right, so if we're gonna break down these terms and what means what, this is kind of what I call Healthshare 101. Get to know the terms. So an agent is called Individual Member Representative, IMR. Claims, these are called medical needs. So this is an important term to know. Some of these I'm going to circle. It's a medical need. When you're talking about the plan or the agreement, you would talk about medical needs. When we talk about coinsurance, that is an MRA. Anything that the member is responsible for. MRA, member responsibility amount. That is what is coming out of your pocket. You will see copays. That's an MRA. You will have deductibles. That's an MRA. You will have coinsurance. That's an MRA. You don't call them copays, deductibles, or coinsurances. We call them MRAs. The contract is simply known as an agreement. Coordination of benefits, we would refer to that as coordination of sharing. Everything with a health share has to do with sharing. All right, sharing the needs. A copay, again, we're calling that an office MRA. It is still the member responsibility amount. Coverage or benefit, that is an offering. Deductible, again, that's an MRA. So the major parts to a major medical plan is deductible, coinsurance, copays. So you have got to commit to memory, it's your MRA. It's your responsibility of what comes out of your pocket. Direct payment amount, that's a contribution. So all health shares, any type of payment is a contribution. It is not a direct payment, it's a contribution. Be sure you use that term correctly. Explanation of benefits, EOBs, now we call them an explanation of sharing. So to recap quickly, everything with a health share, any type of funds that we pay into it, that is a contribution. If anything is being paid, that is a sharing. Anything out of my pocket is a member responsibility. For me, any type of an issue with any type of a major medical plan, the first thing I always want to see is your explanation of benefits. So you'll notice we have an explanation of sharing. So in the subsequent videos that we're doing, I break down exactly how that is. But if you're used to writing anything in the major medical, you're used to looking at an EOB, right? It tells you the date you went, what the code was, what was the suggested price. Healthshare ministries typically are all affiliated with a network, so there are repricing benefits built in there and the discounted amount. Very valuable piece of information. It should be your first thing to always ask for if there's ever any concern about how sharing has been handled, is you want that EOS. A group, we call that a family. In the health share, we call it a combined membership. In network, we use the word affiliated provider. I also want to say these terms aren't necessarily universal with all health shares. But in my research, I have found that a majority of them do recognize these terms, which is why I'm bringing it to you today. Health insurance, we don't call it health insurance. You are not selling a health insurance policy to folks. You are selling a healthcare sharing ministry. You have to make sure you say that correctly. Healthcare sharing ministry. Again, that keyword sharing because that's what this was based on. Sharing of needs. Sharing of needs. A lifetime max, lifetime sharing limit. Medical expenses is a need. That's another key word. In the Healthshare field, we use words like the MRA, contributions, sharing, needs. Those become your new favorite terms. Out-of-network is a non-affiliated provider. Out-of-pocket is an MRA. It's a member's responsibility. Anything out of pocket, anything out of my pocket on this side is my responsibility on that side. We don't pay anything. We don't pay our bill. We don't get a bill and pay. We share. That's our theme. Payments is member contributions. Premium or monthly premium is monthly contributions. We contribute to this. We contribute to this. A primary subscriber is the head of the household. So if I was to write my family on, we'll say, a short-term policy, and I'm listed as the primary, everybody falls underneath me, I would be called the primary subscriber. Healthshare is the head of household. And one thing to keep in mind is typically they will all recognize the oldest person as a head of household. So if you're working with a Healthshare that might have banded ages, and let's say you have somebody in their 50s and the spouse is in their 30s, they're going to make the person, if you don't, the person in the 50s, the head of the household. So the policy is called the membership guideline. Whenever a need is submitted for sharing, all right, whenever a need, which in the major medical arena would be a claim submitted for payment. In the Healthshare arena, we're going to call it a need submitted for sharing. They will always go back and review the membership guidelines, the guidelines. So some Healthshare ministries may exclude, some may charge an additional surcharge, such as a rate-up. It just depends on how they're working that book of business for them. But you will hear those terms. We're going to go back to the membership guidelines and see how the guidelines read. Proof of payment, again, contribution. We don't pay anything, folks. We make contributions. Statement invoice, contribution. And then verification of benefits, that's a verification of eligible medical needs. 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 We have claims over here, but in the Healthshare, we have needs. All in all, this is a very simple market, in my opinion. But the first thing you have to do is be very comfortable with the terms. And don't waffle. You cannot waffle. You will confuse your consumers, and that's putting your consumers at a disadvantage. So I encourage you, if you are looking for new lines this year to really increase your overall income, everybody under the age of 65 needs affordable health care. They need an option. You may not sell any of these, but I would encourage you to discuss them to let your clients know what is out there. Remember, there are 5 recognized Healthshare ministries. If you need any help in picking one or choosing one, reach out to me. My email is rebecca@gordonmarketing.com. And in the subject line, please, please, please reference Healthshare Ministries. Otherwise, stay tuned to our upcoming webinars and more videos on why I think these products rock. Have a great day.